Hi everyone, my name is Ben Wright, Human Cartoonist Extraordinaire, and welcome to a brand new thing we're trying out, the BWHComics Backburner Barbeque. This is the first recording, Friday, February 20th, 2026. I am joined by the greatly missed KelciDComics. Hello.
It's good to be back, y'all. I am alive. I do, in fact, live. I promise.
And since this is kind of one of our old school, like, art and conversation things, you can actually see us for once.
And you can see us for once. We're not just talking voices over a video game.
Yes. Although you should totally watch those too. There's a lot of stuff on the channel.
And in fact, you should definitely rewatch or watch, if you haven't yet, the Paranormacite games, because we were just talking about that, because there's a new Paranormacite game and we're talking about possibly streaming it. And you should watch our first Paranormacite stream because it's a lot of fun.
It honestly, I was rewatching it earlier today. It really is. Like, you see us figuring us like our setup out, but it really does hold up.
Yes. So I'm also looking forward to revisiting those because I had so much fun playing Aereo.
Yeah, honestly, like Aereo and a couple of those voices have become regular voices for us. Like, I do Tetsuo all the time.
Tetsuo is probably not hard for you. Kind of like how Aereo's not that hard for me.
Exactly. You just kind of find the voices that work really well for you, and it's not a problem.
Don't tell me you got a thing for me.
That's still one of the best lines. It's so good.
It's my favorite thing. Whenever I'm having a bum day, I will just think of that line, and I'm like, I'm feeling better.
I just love being able to yell Aereo phrasing all the time. And it's always fun. It's extra funny now because we still say it in like almost every game we play. At least once it comes up.
Doesn't matter
nobody knows what it means anymore if they never watch Paranormacite.
Doesn't matter what game it is. It's just Aereo phrasing.
Exactly. So what we're doing today, I actually had this idea kind of the last minute because there's something new I'm doing this year.
Okay.
And it occurred to me it might be kind of cool to share this process. Okay. So I am constantly trying new organizational systems because I never stick to them. And I'm looking for one that'll actually work for my brain properly.
Okay.
And one of the things that I have also wanted to do, I have a very, very long backburner project list. Now, if anyone doesn't know what a backburner list is, I have a lot of creative projects that at some point I want to do, but a lot of them aren't ready for production, or I'm stalled out on it creatively. Something's going on and it's just not happening. So what I have started doing is I'm put together a new system to try and force me to start working through my backlog. First thing I actually want to show.
Okay.
This is the backlog.
Oh, wow. You actually put it in a list.
I put it in a list. I actually have, you can see here, this is all in Google Sheets. Sorry, I still use Google. But I made Google Doc pitches for each of these.
Okay.
Explaining what, like, a basic idea what the project is and what I need to move forward. And sometimes I've put more information in there if I've started expanding it. And I created a new tab early, like at the beginning of the year, that's created a system for me to random roll which project I work on.
Okay.
I partially blame y'all because you got me doing tier list stuff. And so I kind of use that model.
Okay, so you put together a list of backburner projects and you're ranking them on your tier list in terms of what's the criteria. What's A and what's B and what's C?
Most basic answer is importance.
Okay.
And like a lot more priority, I should say. Because for a bunch of these projects, they're either, if it's A rank, it's either something that I really, really, really want to get out sooner rather than later and want to put a lot of time and effort into. Or it's something that is that's close to being able to become an S rank thing. S rank is stuff I'm actively working on right now. As you can see, there are only 2 up there right now.
Yeah, right,
And there's stuff I end up doing the most of. But I do have it broken down from A all the way down to F.
Oh.
And what I've basically done, part of the reason I'm doing all of this stuff, by the way, hi Los, see you in chat.
Hey Los.
Part of the reason I'm doing this is I showed this to my D&D group, and they were like, this is insane, but also we really like this system, so I figured I'd show you guys.
I was about to say, this is way more elaborate than what I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting, but it was not this.
The way I've got it set up.
Okay.
The original goal I set up, and I haven't hit this yet because I'm still figuring out how I'm doing everything.
Okay.
Is that I want to spend 20 hours a week working on Backburner projects.
Okay.
And so I broke it down using a D20 because, of course, I use the nerdy dice.
You gotta.
Yeah. Basically, if I roll 11 to 20, it's an A rank project.
Okay.
5 to 10, it's a B rank project. 2 to 4, it's a C rank project. And if I roll a 1, I do a D rank project.
But not E or F.
There's no E tier. I do like school grading, so it just jumps to F. F is projects that are so far down the list that they are not. I'm not even working on them yet.
Okay.
And the idea is once stuff starts getting cleared out or promoted or however I end up doing it, I'll start moving some of the F tier stuff up. So
gotcha. Okay.
I've triaged the whole thing basically.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm starting to follow.
I'm sorry. I'm mad at Los for a second. I hope the stream excel beyond expectations. The joke's on you. It's Sheets. But anyway, so yeah, when I'm doing something and I'm like, oh, like what should I? It's like I'm watching something. What should I do in the meantime? Or I'm editing video. I can also do something else at the same time with a lot of that.
Okay.
And so what I'm doing is I'm rolling a D20, and then if there's not a specific project in one of these categories, and I'm like, this is like the one I want to work on, I'll pick that in that category. Otherwise, there are 4 A's, there are 6 B's, there are 10 C's, and there are 12 D's, and I have a die for each of those.
Oh, geez.
So I will literally just random roll and pick one of those projects and spend an hour working on it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the basics of how this particular list works.
Okay.
I'm also the main reason I created the S tier stuff is so I could also keep track of how much work I was doing up there. Like, and I also have a little rule I've thrown in there where the more I work on a particular tier, those roles start counting for S tier instead.
Okay.
So let's say you see here, I've done 5 hours on a project in A tier.
Okay.
If I were to roll a 16, that's above 5, like in the top 5. I would instead work on Cost Pain, or I'd work on some of the BWHComics Plays stuff.
Okay.
So basically, the more I clear out this stuff, the more I have to work on my main projects.
Okay.
Yeah. So yes, this is a lot. This is probably unnecessary. It's working so far.
Hey, if it works for your brain, because this is, I know you well enough with your D&D nerdiness that this probably activates the D&D nerd parts of your brain enough that you're like, yeah, I can put this to my creative projects.
It also really helps with decision paralysis because like part of the problem is I look at a lot of these projects and it's like, I can't start this because there's going to be so much work required to do this. Or it's like, I have so many different projects to choose from. I don't know which one to go with. This randomizes a little bit, which has honestly been cool, especially with like the B and C tier stuff. Like there, you could see down here in the last couple of weeks, I haven't hit these a lot, but when I have, I had to spend an hour fleshing out these concepts. So it's been working out pretty well for me so far. Okay. But I did already roll because I wanted to figure out what I could potentially show that
you didn't roll on stream.
I needed to make sure I'd get something that was workable.
Okay.
I gotta be real. In fact, the first thing I rolled was a project that is a collaboration project that I don't think I couldn't show without the other collaborator. So I was like,
that's fair.
I'm gonna mix it up a little bit.
Okay.
But the project I did end up with is one of the B tier ones, called In the Vortex.
Ooh, okay.
Which also, the other benefit is this is a project I don't think I've told you about.
I was about to say, I haven't heard anything about this.
Yeah. So anyway, In the Vortex, this is what one of my pitches looks like, by the way. I list the primary creator. Most of the time it's going to be me. I list general genre, age range, and the format I picture it in.
Okay.
So the written prompt I have: a super weapon set off during a naval battle a long time ago has caused a permanent massive water spout called the Vortex to form over the oceans. Within it, the descendants of the fighters from that battle live within the wrecks of their ships as they are whipped around by the swirling waters. An abandoned child lives on one of the few operating hover vehicles in the center of the Vortex and helps all sides with errands and repairs, all while navigating the complicated politics and factions that remain after a war long past. And I also always list needed to move forward. What I wrote was the biggest problem I've run into has been designing the ships, which will make up the major set pieces of the world. But yeah, I kind of am picturing this is very much a Ghibli-esque type of world. It's funny that it's been a while since I've seen Castle in the Sky, but I feel like a lot of the original concept that I came up with was this feels a little like Castle in the Sky mixed with the like war stuff of Princess Mononoke. Like there's definitely has some of that vibe.
There is some isms to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Are these like the initial sketches?
This is all largely initial sketches. Like one of the big reasons this is a backburner project is I've had a hard time with the art on this.
Yeah. I imagine it's going to be mostly like sailing vessels.
It's largely going to be ships and technology and stuff like that, which I am not trained in drawing. So and also a lot of it's going to be sci-fi / fantasy stuff. So I've been playing with a lot of it. The main thing I know is it's advanced enough that there's hover technology.
Okay.
And I'll tell you where a lot of this concept came from, and it's particularly weird.
Okay.
So I've had lifelong insomnia. It's just, this is a problem. I keep the weirdest hours because it's so hard for me to get to sleep. That's the main thing.
Right.
And there have been all kinds of tricks over the years that I've learned to help me relax and like shut off my brain and somehow calm down and stuff like that. And one of the things that for some reason would work is that I would imagine that my bed was in free fall.
Okay.
Which sounds like it'd be stressful, right?
It sounds a lot like a nightmare scenario in Little Nemo Adventures in Slumberland.
Very much so, yes.
Yeah.
But it's this weird feeling of it's in free fall, but it's never going to hit the bottom, so you're safe. And there's like this feeling of weightlessness that comes when you think that way. And I started kind of imagining the bed like it's very much in a Little Nemo situation, as if it's a vehicle that you're on floating safely, but high above the ground. And you look down and you see the carpet and those are trees below and things like that.
Okay.
Like this was a trick I used that would actually calm down my brain enough to sleep.
Okay. But you're like the bed is like hovering over the landscape kind of.
Pretty much. And I started just coming up with this setting that went around that. I became a hover vehicle, and you had this character who is just like a child in this world that is all, different factions and politics and people worrying about other stuff. And they're just happy because they get their own, like the size of a truck basically is their entire home, floating with nothing else around it. And they love it.
All right.
And you can actually, if I zoom in, you can just see them sitting on the top of their vehicle.
Okay. So question for you, because you mentioned that this was like a fantasy. How fantastical are you thinking about making the ships, and how close to reality do you want to hew to those? Because there's like, as far as designing ships, there is a spectrum for how to draw them.
I am picturing. I've debated this a lot.
Yeah.
In some iterations, it was two armies with very different tech levels.
Okay.
Like roughly World War II era destroyers versus wooden ships.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, it needed to be a fairly equal fight.
Okay. Sounds a bit like Nier Automata's idea of having androids versus robots. But the androids were created by humans, so they look human, and the robots were created by aliens, and the aliens are like, we're just making them out of scraps. And they have to be like equal fighting partners.
Yeah, well, in this case, everyone would be human. That much is definite. Because it really is a situation of once this water spout happened, once the vortex came into existence, the fighting ended because the ships now they are done. They can't do anything except be stuck in the side of this vortex. Okay. And because of centrifugal force, it's not like everyone is constantly having a sense of vertigo and spinning. That's kind of stabilized. And they've effectively been building shelters into it. This is like decades have passed since this initially started. And it's now generational communities on each of these ships. Okay. Some of them still want to keep fighting the war. Some still are on a military footing. Others just like, we need to grow stuff to survive and trade with it. It's like a village now, basically, inside each of these ships. And so a big part of the conflict is this is an actual hover ship, like a hover truck that the main character, who I always call Wild Child. I never came up with an actual name.
Okay.
But, and they are non-binary. They basically manage to find themselves on this specialty type of ship that it's important for everybody to keep maintained because there's almost no hover technology like this left. It's not stuck in the vortex. It's floating in sort of the middle of everything. So they can actually go back and forth between the colonies and help and do stuff. Okay. They actually know a lot about mechanics because they fix their own ship, their own truck. They have a little robot friend, which may or may not have been based on a selfie stick. And also a friend who is basically a mail carrier who has another flying thing, a hoverboard.
Okay. So the reason I ask about the designs of the ships and if you're like set on particular ideas or particular designs or anything like that is because particularly when you're working with fantasy stuff. Because when you brought up Hayao Miyazaki as a source of inspiration, while he can draw historically accurate ships, some of my favorite designs of his when it comes to like ships and things like Howl's Moving Castle and things like that are he'll just take a shape that exists in nature and go, what if this shape, but an airship? So like, I'm thinking of, for example, of in Howl's Moving Castle, there was this one aerial ship that like, there were fins that would just emerge out of the sides of holes and just go whoop.
Yeah.
And just do that. And it's like, does that make sense? I don't know. It looks cool though.
I don't have it in one of these slides, but there was another piece of art. Another fun fact I realized until today, I did not have any of the art scanned.
Oh.
So I had to do that real quick and put these together. But I did have this designed as a type of ship that would be had been developed. And the basic idea is that it's designed so they can very quickly go around the entire vortex. Like it's literally designed to just spin and go all the way around.
Yeah, I was about to say it looks like a screw.
Yeah.
What if all of the ships were shaped like screws and bolts and other tools?
It's a fun idea, and it'd be a lot easier to draw.
Because like you also got to think about, okay, so what are the sorts of designs that would also get stuck in vortexes and not move very easily?
Yeah, well, part of my thinking was if you have an actual ship, then in theory it would end up basically going sideways, and then the water from the vortex would hold it in place. A lot of this is using magical thinking too.
Right.
Like screw physics. It's
yeah, no, this is a world that is very much screw physics. This is magic.
I will say one of the other things that made me think this would be an absolute nightmare to draw is in my head, I so much picture like a lot of empty space, a lot of like backgrounds that are very empty and clean, except all around the entire thing are giant walls of water moving at high speed.
Okay.
So in theory, like the empty space I'm picturing like probably wouldn't be there.
Okay.
But yeah, no. And also I get what you're talking about with the different objects being used to do stuff. Did you do this as a kid where you just have these random things and you'd be like, I'm turning this into a spaceship?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like actually what comes to mind, I have a very worn down pencil right now and I'm like, I could make this a ship.
Oh yeah. That's a very easy ship design.
That's a ship.
That's a ship.
Yeah.
I know a lot of other creatives that do the same sort of thing. They're like, oh God, I don't know how to design this thing. Like even, oh God, there was a manga that was like, hey, I know what this airship design is going to be. It's just going to be the Palace of Versailles, but with rocks underneath of it that enable it to hover. Yeah, and then those rocks have windmills attached to them.
See, now I'm looking around for objects I could turn into. How dare you?
I want to say the manga I'm talking about is like the case study of Vanitas or something like that. Because there's vampires in there. It like takes place in this like alternate universe France. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could also be a spaceship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it wouldn't hurt doing that kind of strategy because whenever you're designing an actual object, you have to go so blocky.
Yeah.
Like just to make it right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's one of the things I've tried to figure out with this. There are only two vehicles that I'm sure about the general look of what they are.
Okay.
Like the truck itself is basically designed for moving small containers and helping with repairs. Was the original purpose of it. Mm-hmm. So the back is a flatbed that's designed to be able to hold like equal sized beds filled with equipment.
Okay.
Is sort of the concept.
Mm-hmm.
The only other thing that I know for sure that I want to figure out how to get in there, behave, is a hoverboard because it is sick.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that I'm going to have to draw so much of people surfing in the sky, but it's going to be worth it because it's going to be cool.
Start amassing photo references of people surfing.
Of surfing, I've used a lot. I'm a little sad I couldn't find the sketch. Somewhere in one of my sketchbooks, I have a picture of Wild Child on the surfer's shoulders while they're doing all this.
Delightful.
Yeah. I'm working on a variety of character ideas for other people you'd run into. Mm-hmm. Some of the ships have much more of like a gang mentality.
Okay.
Kind of gone a little feral over the years. Others are much more military, still try to maintain a basic level of order.
Mm-hmm.
Have better equipment. Some of them are trying to figure out how to get outside the vortex or find out what is outside the vortex. Because ever since doing this, communication's dead too. Okay. So they've gone decades without even knowing what's going on with their nations after this.
Okay, so the communications outside of the vortex have been cut off, or communications period? Because are the ships able to communicate with each other inside the vortex?
I think it is mostly riders like the surfboard rider. I think a lot of it is going back and forth with communication.
Okay.
Because it's... First off, I feel like it is roughly, I would say communication tech is probably closer to World War II levels.
Okay.
So there's not necessarily internet so much. There's not necessarily the ability to communicate that way. Radio might be possible, but I also think a lot of the stuff they've got probably got cannibalized over the years. Because they needed the different parts for stuff to stay alive and maintain the community.
Okay. And how many ships are you thinking? And also, is Wildchild literally the only person who's allowed to be the go-between between all of these ships? Or are there others?
There are a few others.
Okay.
Wildchild has the biggest ship.
Okay.
Because most of them are... One of the things that ended up happening, I'm picturing those surfboards as basically they were cobbled together from the remaining hover equipment.
Okay.
Because a lot of things were so depleted and so destroyed that they basically couldn't make a full vehicle. They could make something that could carry one person with limited supplies. So they can run back and forth with what can fit in a messenger bag and a few other things. Okay. But the only larger vehicle, one of the only larger vehicles at the very least, I could consider adding others. But Wildchild's kind of important because of that. And also, no one really wants to mess with Wildchild because if you mess with that, you get everybody angry. It's a little bit of a Cold War situation because it's something that needs to exist or everybody's screwed.
So how did Wildchild get to be the neutral party running things in circles, basically?
I've been kind of leaning towards they don't know.
Okay.
They don't really know their own background that much. Their earliest memories were just on the ship alone.
Okay. So who gave them the power and authority to do this?
In many cases, it's the fact that, this particular ship needs to be unaffiliated with anybody and free to move around. And everyone had other problems to deal with. And this kid figured out how to drive the thing.
Okay.
This is also stuff that I would need to be fleshed out before.
I was about to say, I have follow-up questions.
Cool. No, hit me with a follow-up question. This is why it's a backburner project. Because I haven't gotten the story fully developed. I haven't figured out how to draw the world. This is all stuff. By the way, I like that that Los describes it as very Eureka 7 mixed with Mad Max.
It is very Mad Max-like.
Yeah.
I'm also getting, and maybe this is just me having finished watching Gladlands on Dropout.
Haven't watched it yet. I know I need to.
I highly recommend it. Gladlands is what if Mad Max, but everyone was trying to work together to live. That's its basic pitch.
Yeah.
And also the big philosophical question is, what does community look like? And how do you stick with community even when it gets really fucking hard? Because there are times where it gets really fucking hard. Excuse my language. So you had mentioned the initial germ of the idea of why you wanted to work on this idea. Is there a I know that this is still a work in progress, so maybe you don't really have an end in mind for what the end of the story is going to look like, which is fine. What are some questions that you would like to explore with this piece, do you think? Or are you still trying to figure that part out?
It's a very good question. This is one of the things that definitely started as a setting before I had a story. The big thing I know I want to have happen is elements of the war restarting. In fact, I think the last slide I have set up is I have this concept of... So one of the ideas I was kind of playing with, and again, this feels a little castle in the sky, so I might change it. But basically, I was playing with the idea of just Wildchild's living their life out in the middle of everything, and another kid around their age falls out of the sky and lands on the vehicle.
Yeah, that's very Castle in the Sky. Yes.
Gets knocked out, has no memory.
Okay.
But this is prompting another group to suddenly start making major moves.
Okay.
And we're trying to find out what's been fully going on. And that actually leads to this design that I've not been happy with any of them yet. Would you move? Hold on. Oh, is that? I want to have gorillas that use older technology, like no guns or anything, but that use some form of glider.
Okay.
I've played with a couple different versions of it. I like the idea of them coming in. I've been thinking like basically Assassin's Creed blades. I've been thinking crossbows on the wrist. And
have
basically,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, all of a sudden, when there hasn't been any kind of serious conflict happening in years, like, in order to try and get this kid back, these people are appearing.
Okay, gotcha. I was about to ask, have you seen Full Metal Alchemist Sacred Star of Milos?
Don't think so. The only Full Metal Alchemist I've seen was the original anime.
Okay. Sacred Star of Milos takes place in the new anime, Brotherhood.
Okay.
So Sacred Star of Milos has glider like soldiers like this. The way that they operate is that they have these structures that look like bat wings that they can collapse and unfold. And the way that they launch themselves into the air and all that is by, they have these like, what's the word? Grappling hooks that they can fire off, latch onto a thing, and then they use the momentum of like pulling themselves towards it to like go off into the air.
Basically like in Arkham Knight. Like,
I've not played Arkham Knight.
Yeah. The Batman Arkham games have that trick where you use your grappling hook pull and then you use the momentum to glide.
Yeah. It's very much like that. So might be worth exploring to be like, okay, well, they can't just fly. They're not airbenders.
Yes. Well, that would be one definite thing, is that it's glide down. It's Gargoyles rules.
Okay. Gotcha.
Although one thing that the grappling thing you mentioned does make me think, if you were able to throw something into the vortex to pull you along, it'd be a great way to build momentum real quick.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Okay. So again, circling back to Castle in the Sky. So the thing about the Castle in the Sky is that it's a post-apocalypse.
Yeah.
So like the castles existed in the sky, those castles fell. And the world that we are seeing in that timeline is now several hundred, if not thousands of years into the future.
Right.
So I don't know what kind of timeline you want to work with this, whether this is going to be post-apocalyptic or if we're in the middle of the apocalypse as it's happening right now.
Of those, this would be closer to the concept of post-apocalypse.
Okay.
In that, like, this was a group of, like, this whole group of people came from different cultures, different societies, and after this disaster are completely cut off from those societies and have had to rebuild their own communities based on these locations. So it takes a lot of elements from post-apocalypse. I also have always really liked the concept in post-apocalypse of how there's this kind of generational trauma that you get from post-apocalyptic stuff, where it's like, oh, the world used to be so much better, and we want to get back to that. Yeah. And I've always been fascinated by the people who literally have just grown up in this world as normal, and are like, no, the world is fine. Like, this is just what the world is. And that's sort of what I'm playing with here, because Wild Child's perfectly happy.
Right.
Like, until stuff starts going like weirder, And
Mm-hmm.
part of it's also that they're a kid. Like they
Yeah.
don't see necessarily the bigger scope in the same way. They have a very simple life.
Well, and also like for kids, like they don't really have a context for what is apocalyptic. So
Exactly. Yeah.
like what would be apocalyptic for a wild child to experience?
Restarting of the war, definitely. Like that would be, I mean, I hate to bring in modern politics, but there is a lot happening now that is very much like, oh, we
Mm-hmm.
kind of had a world we were able to take for granted for a long time, and
Okay.
we did. And all of a sudden things are getting extremely bad and going back to ways we thought it couldn't go again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that necessarily everything was completely that naive, but there's definitely like that vibe to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Another good example would be like our generation with 9/11. Like we remember what the world was like before that, and it's thrown off a lot of stuff. And the people who are born after are like, no, we can adapt to this world because we grew up in it.
Yeah. Like they
Yeah.
did not know a world with no government surveillance. So for Wild Child, because
Mhm.
like the other thing too is you also got to consider the character's journey. Like, who's the character? What do they want? What are they afraid of?
Well, one of the things I find, I kind of like the idea of, I actually do know what they're afraid of. That's funny.
What are they afraid of?
I think they're afraid of actually being alone.
Okay.
Because they live a very solitary life. They are,
Mhm.
On a ship in the middle of things, but they have regular interactions with the surfer. They have regular interactions with like going and helping other people.
Mhm.
But the idea of actually losing people and being isolated, they haven't had to deal with yet. I don't think they've actually had to deal with
Mhm.
death in any real way either. Like
Okay.
I know some of the things they will become afraid of during the course of the series, but some of it they're not afraid of yet.
Okay. What if the inciting incident was that somebody that Wild Child knew was murdered?
I do have plans for something along those lines happening, and I know exactly how they would react, and I'm debating whether I want to say it on a stream. See, that's the one problem with like this project idea is
Yeah.
in theory I might be talking about spoilers in the long term.
Right.
But also like that's kind of part of the fun. I'm just trying to figure out where the line should be.
Right. Well,
I will say I have like
Mhm.
of the plot points, I
Mhm.
do have this. It's a good moment, and I think I'd be better to be seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was about to say, honestly, having a murder, it would be a good inciting incident for an environment like this because there's already tension. There's, you know, brewing hostile sentiment because all of these people existed because they were at war with each other.
Right.
So the murder would be the thing that could incite the story to start.
Well, I do like a good murder mystery.
Yeah, I was about to say, I know
Yeah.
that your bread and butter has been murder mysteries up to this point. It doesn't have to be a murder mystery that compels the story to move forward. But honestly, like when it comes to setting up for a good story, I'm just thinking about it also from like, I'm trying not to pull a Brendan Lee Mulligan here, but there is something to be said about like funerals are a great setup, murders are a great setup, or somebody stealing something from another ship.
That's more along the lines of what I'd been thinking. Like
Is somebody stealing stuff?
yeah, I was going a little bit on the espionage side of things.
Okay.
So, and also like I guess one of the big influences of this is anime in general.
Okay.
And it's funny, anime doesn't like killing characters.
They don't.
You notice that?
Yeah. Yeah. Anime
It
yeah, that's what makes Kingdom Hearts very anime is that nobody fucking dies.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that I think is good with anime is when they do kill a character, it has a lot of good weight to it.
It can, yes.
Yeah, it's I know the example I'm thinking of. Spoilers for anyone who has not watched the original Trigun anime.
Yeah.
So, like, I've given you a second to mute. You should do that. But yeah, Wolfwood's death is so impactful when that happens.
Yeah. Well, also, death in that universe has stakes.
Yes.
Because like I love Dragon Ball, but Dragon Ball effectively neutered the stakes of death, so they had to figure out loopholes around that.
You mean I gotta have this lame ass Halo the rest of my existence, or at least until we get all the Dragon Balls together?
Yeah, but even then, knowing that the Dragon Balls are like a cheat code, for the most part, there are rules with the Dragon Balls. Like if you're using the Earth set, you can only resurrect somebody a maximum of 2 times.
I thought it was once with the Earth set. Am I?
Wait,
was it 2?
If they die, you can resurrect them once, and then that's it.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, but the difference is with the Earth Dragon Balls, you can bring back more than one person at a time. The Namekian Dragon Balls, up until the Buu arc, where they got an upgrade. That's some
gotcha.
Shit. There's some shit. But the Namekian Dragon Balls can resurrect people as many times as needed, but can only bring back one person at a time.
My understanding of Dragon Ball is limited because, like, the main thing I watched was, Dragon Ball Z as a kid, which I got stalled out towards the end of the Frieza saga.
Yeah.
And going through the manga in Japanese. So I only kind of got the vibe of what was going on.
Okay. Yeah.
So I didn't know the Dragon Balls got upgraded.
Yeah, let me regale you with the Dragon Ball lore anytime that you want to know more about that. So I read all of Dragon Ball, which is basically Goku from like kid until his first fight with Piccolo. That's Dragon Ball. Right. And then Dragon Ball Z happens in that time jump after he defeats Piccolo in the tournament. And then it just time jumps to, oh, hey, I have a kid now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where Z starts.
While we're talking, I'm just going to start doing some random doodling for this.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, it's your stream, dude.
Yeah.
So the way it happened in the Namek saga is that the Namekian Dragon Balls were brought up. They were the first ones to be activated. And the first person to be resurrected back to life was Piccolo, because as soon as you bring Piccolo back to life, you bring Kami back to life. You bring Kami back to life, that means the Earth Dragon Balls are now active. There's a bunch of rules that are going to be thrown out there, and I need you to follow me on this.
If I remember, Earth Dragon Balls, you get 1 wish. Namekian, you get 3.
Yes.
Was it still 7 and 7? I'm going off memory from middle school. So
yeah, 7 Dragon Balls in each set. Yes. Yeah, so there's 7 Earth Dragon Balls, and then there's 7 Namekian Dragon Balls. The Namekian Dragon Balls are also larger. Not sure the reasoning why for that one, but generally, yes. The Earth Dragon Balls, the rules changed when Piccolo and Kami fused together, and Dende was chosen as the new Earth Guardian. Once he was chosen as the new Earth Guardian, he updated the Earth Dragon Balls so that the Earth Dragon Balls could do 2 wishes and be able to bring back somebody more than once. Because when Kami was still Earth Guardian, you could only bring back a person from death once, which was why Chaozu's death was huge in the battle with Nappa and Vegeta. Because when that battle happened, Chaozu had already died and been brought back. So his sacrifice was a bigger deal when it happened, because it was like, no, the only sets of Dragon Balls that exist are the Earth ones. We don't know about any other ones. And the Earth Dragon Balls can only bring back a person from the dead once. The Namekian Dragon Balls can bring back somebody no matter how many times, but it can only bring back one person at a time, which is different from the Earth set. Anyway, not to talk your ear off about Dragon Ball lore.
Nope, that's exactly what I was asking about.
Okay, because I can keep going.
So one of the things I realized a while back that I have to be careful about whenever I'm doing designs for Wild Child, I realized there's a character that in some ways is very similar conceptually to this character. And I have to find ways to avoid that. And that's Ed from Cowboy Bebop.
I was thinking Ed from Cowboy Bebop. When you were talking about a wild child, genderqueer person living among wreckage, my first thought was, oh, like Edward.
Right.
From Cowboy Bebop.
See, my straight ass goes, oh, it's fine because Edward's a girl, not genderqueer. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably me thinking about it back in the 90s, isn't it?
A little.
Yeah.
Well, and also the English dub was like, oh, we have to pick some kind of gender, but like in the original Japanese, I think Ed referred to themselves with gender neutral pronouns. So
you know what? I was actually just wondering about this because in Duolingo, I'm learning the kanji for he, she, and they. And I was wondering if they, which is basically he plural, is used for as a non-binary pronoun in Japanese. It's karera basically, and he is kare.
Okay.
Also, I was a little annoyed by this. The kanji for she, kanojo, starts with the kanji for kare and then adds something to it. So it kind of has the vibe of male equals person, and then you have altered male equals female.
Yeah, like, oh, this is man, and then there's modifiers on top of man.
Yeah. At least in English, that's kind of not how it started. Kinda. Because originally it was wereman was male. Man was the equivalent of human. And so you had wereman and woolman. And over time, man became wereman. Or wereman became man.
Yeah.
So at least in its origins, it wasn't that. It's still, I do recognize it kind of reads that the exact same way as the Japanese now. It was weird seeing it in the writing because the words are completely different. And that happens in kanji, but kare and kanojo don't sound anything the same.
Yeah, no, not at all. I do appreciate the baggy shorts.
Yeah, the shorts I like. The shorts, I will change a lot in this character. The shorts I probably want to keep. Okay. I don't know what it is, but like that style of short is just youthful. And I say this as a guy who doesn't wear shorts. He can help it.
It's very yoga pants with something cut off.
I could see having multiple straps. We'll Liefeld it a little bit.
Just don't turn them into a Rob Liefeld character. That's all I ask.
The character always feels a little underdesigned. I never know quite what to put on there.
Well, honestly, when you're drawing comics, you want to go with just a little underdesigned because you're going to be drawing this character over and over and over again.
This is true. I've made this mistake so many times.
Yeah, because there's a difference between drawing an illustration and drawing a character for a comic.
Like, I have to say, because I've started all the Zenless Zone Zero stuff, gorgeous designs. How dare they? Like, it is so cruel to the fans that we have to draw these characters, and it's just like there's so many parts.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm really glad that I'm not part of the Zenless Zone Zero like character tier list or anything like that, because you don't need to hear me talking once every 20 minutes about, well, if I was drawing this, I would do this, this, and this, and this, and this. Because there's so many things about those character designs that I'm like, I have notes, but I'm going to be nice. But I'm glad that you and Chloe are having fun with those.
Yeah, no, we've definitely had a good time, and I've started actually playing the game, which is honestly, it is pretty fun. The gotcha mechanics are obnoxious.
Yes,
it's like, oh, I just completed something. Let me go through half a dozen menus and check off all the red boxes.
That's mildly obnoxious. It's like, just let me play the game where I can just play my shoot 'em ups with Billy and all that. Because I did see at least part 1 and 2 of the replays that you've been posting on YouTube.
Billy is pretty fun.
He looks fun. So their friend is a robot that is a selfie stick with legs.
Pretty much. Okay. I actually think it was a monopod or something like that. I just remember playing around with it. I'm like, you're a little robot.
Yeah.
It was, and also theoretically, part of the idea that made me think it would be a fun thing to have is that in addition to potentially standing on those, it can spin the legs like a propeller and be airborne.
I was just thinking that.
Yep.
Like, that would be a really easy, like, propeller situation.
Yeah. My idea is that there were these, like, special, like, this was military technology originally. They were specialized, like, personal data assistants, as opposed to having, like, a full-on internet or anything like that. The higher tech, like, officers and stuff like that could actually use these guys for data collection and things like that, and when they needed quick information, they had a large database of stuff like that, and Wild Child just uses it as a companion.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. I didn't have it in front of me, but I think I had an acronym for the name.
So you were saying that this is like World War II adjacent technology. Computers in World War II took up an entire room.
Oh yeah, this is much more advanced than that. This part is definitely. There also wasn't hover technology. Like, I'm taking some liberties. Okay. I'm mostly thinking, like, I don't want to have communication with the outside world. I want communication between ships to be limited. So one of the texts that's gonna be limited is radio.
Okay.
Lois, that's a great idea. Fun design ideas, or for design ideas for Wild Child, find some surf and skater zines.
Oh, fuck yeah.
100%, actually. That's a great idea.
It is. Yeah. And there's a ton of those.
You know what? That might become a major part of the vibe anyway. Because, like, there's something very California about about this kid. Like, like Jacob Wysocki style California a little bit, but like if that were a little child.
Yes. If Jacob Wysocki were 12.
Yes. But yeah, part of my thinking is there is actually a character that is part of the, oh no, that's the wrong one. Part of the modern military that can uses an alternate form of the thing without the screen as basically a stun baton.
Okay.
By the way, my art's gotten so much better since 2020. Holy crap.
I was about to say, who is this person and what happened to their leg?
That's actually almost a dance pose. That's almost check position, but I exaggerated it because I also love, one of the other things that makes it tricky is I'd love to be able to draw like kind of that classic manga style where everyone's a little bit bent weird and like you get the really dynamic movement poses and you've got all the crazy like black and white hatching. That's one of the other things. I picture this in black and white.
Yeah.
with like heavy inks and stuff like that. It's
Okay.
one reason I've also considered if I might want it to be a collaboration piece.
Have you looked at the art and aesthetics of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure at all?
I watched one of the old cartoons.
Okay.
One of the old anime. It was the one that had the early memes of Zawarudo.
Oh yes.
I did watch that one. It was fantastic. I know I need to watch the other stuff.
Well, I would recommend checking out the manga. I'm also thinking of there's a spin-off manga that he did called Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe. The art aesthetic for that is very black and white, but graphic, like gray tones. And because like I don't remember if he uses like actual like gray tone sheets at all, or if it's just hatching. Yeah. But his hatching game and Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe is it's so good. So very good.
Taking a quick note.
It's also very horror.
Which honestly fits his style pretty well.
Oh yeah. Like the opening short story is about because the thing about Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe is that these are collections of short stories revolving around Rohan Kishibe being like, so I came across this person and it inspired me to make this manga. And it's usually him regaling some story about this weirdo that he met. And the first story in volume 1 is somebody came up to him thinking that he was a priest because he had gone to Italy on a research trip, went into a church and was like, ooh, is this a confessional? And he goes into the priest side of the confessional, and then somebody else comes in on the other side and is like, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. And Rohan's like, okay, shut the fuck up. I need to listen to this. This is good.
I actually there was a kind of interesting mystery I recently did the audiobook for.
Okay.
I don't want to say which one in case anyone happens to read these books. I do like these books.
Okay.
But there was this concept where an entire conspiracy was discovered because someone who was one of the conspirators made confession. What they didn't know, but they somehow found out later, and it caused a lot of trouble, is that the person in the confessional was a monk, not a priest.
Oh.
And it turns out, like, that happens. Monks will sometimes sit in on confession, but they are not bound by the seal of the confessional.
Ah.
So all of a sudden there's this person who knows about this huge global conspiracy who should not know it and has to go into hiding and try to get the information out to the people who need to know it, because they're like, I can tell this and it's admissible, but if I don't tell the wrong person, I'm dead.
Right. Sounds a lot like one of the climactic scenes that happens in the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yes, that's a great movie.
It's such a good movie. That is the movie that made me go, Wes Anderson is a good director, actually. Because my first ever movie of his that I saw was The Royal Tenenbaums, and I fucking hated it.
I'm exact same camp.
Yeah.
I will say I most recently saw a thing of his, what was it called? The Phoenician Scheme.
Okay.
The thing of his that just came out. And it's one of those ones like, this is a well-made movie. It didn't quite do it for me. Like, I wanted it to be as good as the Grand Budapest Hotel. It sadly wasn't. But
yeah.
I wanted.
Yeah. I was about to say, I think Grand Budapest is just one of those things that's like, it was like the right elements all brought together at just the right time.
Yeah, and I also feel like it captured the visual style extremely well. Oh, yes. I've got some. This is all on Netflix. So is that tough for you? You don't have Netflix, do you?
I don't have Netflix.
Okay. If you do get it again, look up. I'm blanking on what the adjectives in front of it are, but it's Henry Sugar. Hold on, let me look up the full name.
Okay. That's a name, Henry Sugar.
The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar.
Okay.
So here's the deal behind this. It's Wes Anderson.
Okay.
It's like a 15-minute film based on a Roald Dahl short story.
Okay.
It uses like 5 actors, and all of them are very good actors. You got like Ben Kingsley, you've got Dev Patel, you've got Ray Fiennes, like it's people. Oh, Benedict Cumberbatch is the main guy. Like it's all like these really talented actors. They're doing this short story, and they're literally all reading the text while, like, the narration text while playing their characters.
Okay.
It's very weird, but it's very cool. And like also a very fun story. Like it's really cool. Definitely check, like worth checking out. He also did a bunch of other Roald Dahl stuff in the exact same style, but the first one to check out is Henry Sugar.
Okay. I mean, Roald Dahl shorts are memorable, to say the least. So I would love to see that done in a Wes Anderson style.
The other one is, I think called, the one that I really loved was The Snake. That one was fantastic, but it's much shorter. So I'm going to do what you suggested and try to use a random object to design a ship. And let's see how that goes.
Do it.
And the object that I decided to grab, because I realized it was on my desk, is an Xbox controller.
I would love to see that as a spaceship. Or as a actual Navy ship.
As a naval ship. And part of what I was thinking, actually, knowing a little bit about how ships work, is you basically have 2 pontoons at the bottom.
Okay.
So you could almost have like a catamaran type of setup where you've got the 2-hulled ship.
Okay.
So I think it's potentially going to work. I'm going to be at a weird pose because I'm basically holding this thing while I'm drawing it. At least to rough it out.
No, I get that.
Also, it'll help with some of the weirder angles.
Yes.
It's always the nightmare. Honestly, if I wanted to really cheat, I'd probably just drop a picture of one of these into the app and go from there. But we'll figure it out. I'm already liking this better than most of what I drew.
Oh, there you go.
Definitely a good trick. So what have you been working on, actually, while we're doing this?
It's funny that you brought up bringing up a list of projects that are on the back burner. I don't necessarily have a list per se of back burner projects, but I do have a list of scripts that I have been working on that have been put on the back burner because of my day job. So one of them is The Little Catacorn. I'm finally doing a one-shot comic with The Little Catacorn.
Nice.
Yes. So finally got a story idea cooking for that. And I have the first... Hold on. Let me bring up Obsidian because the list thing reminded me, oh yeah, I have something on my Obsidian that I've been using to track the progress I've been making on my scripts, being like, okay, I have this many scripted of an estimated this many pages. So I'm going to project progress. That was where it is. Well, I haven't worked on a Viking Mercenaries guide at all yet, and I'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so for The Little Catacorn, I have the first 12 pages scripted out of an estimated 40, roundabout there. So kind of a thicker one shot, but I do intend on having The Little Catacorn be a single issue floppy to take with me to events. Kind of in the same vein as like Thoughtful Dinosaur, New Punk Signal, those kinds of comics, and just have The Little Catacorn be its own standalone thing. The other comic that I had just casually mentioned, A Viking Mercenaries Guide to Falling in Love, is going to be my rewrite of An Ignorance of Romance but with my own twists on it.
Nice.
Yeah, because like looking at the original script that Kai had come up with, I'm like, there are elements of this that I'm like, I don't like that. How would I do it? One of the big things that I took issue with was the main character's sister, which I got the impression that they were twins. But like the main character's sister just basically complains, "Oh, shut the fuck up. You're going on an adventure while I'm stuck here in the castle." And then we don't see her ever again. And I'm like, well, that's not going to do. And also, I really liked, there were some original concept sketches that I had drawn for the main character that I was like, oh, I really like this aesthetic where he's got this like kind of mop of hair that he just kind of like doesn't try to comb it or anything. It's just like a mess. Because, you know, he's not necessarily out to try to like impress or woo anybody. He's just like, leave me alone. I'm holed up in the library and I'd rather be alone with my books. So got kind of like a Einstein poof going on.
He's that one library pigeon from Hatoful Boyfriend.
I have not seen this library pigeon, but I will take your word on it.
It was by far my favorite character. The few playthroughs I did.
You know
I made him such an asshole. It was great.
You know what? I'm going to look this up. Library pigeon? I'm trying to remember how you spell pigeon. There we go. Got it. Pigeon. Yeah. Hatoful Boyfriend.
He basically just wanted to stay in the library all the time and not interact with anybody.
Yeah.
And it was my running joke, because he was very snobby about the books he read, was that he was secretly a twihard.
Delightful. Okay. Well, all of the pictures that I'm pulling up when I look up library pigeon Hatoful Boyfriend, all of them are very well groomed pigeons, and I'm like, none of these are like mad pigeons at all.
He wasn't necessarily poorly groomed. He just was very asocial.
Oh, okay. So I have an outline for A Viking Mercenary's Guide to Falling in Love. The other major twist that I made was that the love interest is introduced right away at the start of the story because she is the title character. She is the Viking mercenary, and she's hired by this duke to escort his children to their final destination. And I was like, okay, so we have the Viking mercenary who is hired to escort these two children of the duke, and the children are twins. The boy twin is going to be the love interest. The girl twin, the reason she's being escorted is because the duke, her father, was like, you're going to go marry this son of this other duke. Because the duke ultimately really wants to hold on to his station, and he's been selling off portions of his land over time to try to keep up the appearance of looking like a duke, but he's been losing more and more of what marks him as a duke because of reasons. But yeah, no, he's been trying to keep up appearances, which means that he's been selling off a lot of things to try to keep up those appearances. And his last ditch effort is to try to have his daughter marry another duke so that some amount of wealth can stay in the family.
Right.
Or at least some amount of station, because it's very important to this guy to be perceived as a duke and to be perceived as like, yes, I have some amount of wealth and power. So he wants to marry off his daughter to try to keep that. His son, he's like, well, my son is not nearly virile enough. And obviously he's more interested in books. Ship him off to a monastery. Get him out of my hair. One less mouth for me to feed.
I mean, admittedly, that's basically what used to happen in the Middle Ages.
Yeah, exactly. So that was my thinking. And then what happens is at least according to my outline notes. So the Viking mercenary woman is like, all right, I'll escort your kids. Here's my fee. The Duke pays for a certain amount of the trip, but he does not pay for all of it. Because the other hang up is that he's like, well, you're going on a camping trip. Go and camp in the woods. And the Viking mercenary is like, I fucking hate camping. And the twin children are like, I also really do not like camping.
They go glamping instead.
Like, so they go glamping instead. But part of that is they start paying for staying at like guest houses and things. And then they very quickly run out of money partway into the trip. And so they start taking on gigs. And they realize, oh shit, we're actually a really good team working together on these gigs. So let's just keep working together. And eventually they find a gig working with Mama Bebe. This is an idea that was shared with me by one of my fans, Heidi, I believe. Yes, it was Heidi. Because this was something that was introduced in her D&D campaign. And she was like, I am sharing this with you so that you can do with it what you will. And I'm like, yes. So Mama Bebe is like Baba Yaga, but instead of chicken legs on the house, it's cat legs. And it's all cat themed.
I like.
Like, I already love it. And I'm like, yes. So they come across Mama Bebe. And Mama Bebe is like, well, this asshole of a duke stole something from me, and I need you to steal it back. There will be great rewards if you do. Turns out the duke that stole from her is the duke that the twin girl was engaged to. And so she's like, oh, you motherfucker. And then the love interest, the twin boy, is taken hostage by the evil duke. And so the Viking mercenary is like, oh no, fuck that. And it's basically like I don't want to say a D&D adventure, but there is a lot of D&D flavor to this.
As soon as you were like, wait a minute, we're actually good together as a party, even though we all come from different places. I'm like, yeah, roll for initiative.
Yeah, very much that. And then it's almost like a one-shot campaign, but drawn out. So you get to see like the inciting reason for why the party was brought together in the first place. You get to see them going on their adventures. You see them on the one-shot quest. The one-shot quest comes to a conclusion, and that's the end of the story. So I'm estimating it to be about 100 pages. It might be more, it might be less, but a comfortable standalone graphic novel type thing for this one. Not as short as the Little Catacorn, because the Little Catacorn is roughly 40-ish pages, but a little bit longer than the Case of the Wendigo, because the Case of the Wendigo, or Wendigo, I had originally pronounced it as Wendigo, and then somebody else said Wendigo, and I'm like, is that the proper pronunciation? I've heard so many different ways to say it.
I think I've heard Wendigo more often. That doesn't mean it's the right way to say it.
Exactly. That's the kind of my concern. But the Case of the Wendigo is like 75-ish pages. It's not that long of a graphic novel, but it is a graphic novel. Honestly, that's kind of when I'm not working on The Legend of Jamie Roberts or Vanita and the Demon King, that's kind of my sweet spot as far as working on comics projects, is like 100 pages or less. Preferably
By the way,
less.
I have to say this trick worked. I like this better than virtually any ship I've ever designed.
Fuck yes!
What? It's fun because I'm also starting to figure out like elements of how it would potentially work. Part of me actually wondered if I should give it a sail, like, but it ended up. I'm not sure where on the design I would necessarily put it.
Do some variations. I mean, you're in the ideation phase. Play
exactly.
around.
The other thing I like though is when I gave it like this jet in the back, I realized it kind of looks like a manta ray.
It does. Yeah.
Especially since like I had this idea for a port in the front that would be like an aircraft carrier hangar. That's the other thing. I was playing with the ideas that at some point they had like jets and fighters, but that might be getting the tech up too much.
Gotcha. Yeah. But like, for sure, start playing around with like the controller element of it. See what happens when you put a sail on there. How would you put the sail on there, and how would you manipulate the sail?
Yeah, it's one of the things I was trying to figure out. It's one of the main things that stopped me from putting a sail on there. I feel like I can only think of two places that a sail would make sense with the current design.
Okay.
Either behind that viewpoint port or in front of it. In front of it sounds weird, but that's how a lot of sailboats are actually designed.
Actually, taking a look at this, one thing I am picturing is I'm mostly picturing the sorts of sails that are on the backs of ships. There's a technical term for it, and I'm blanking on it. But it's basically, you have the mast part, and then there is I don't want to say a mast, but it's almost like another mast, but it's turned sideways and it's angled like this.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
And the sail is on the part that is on this.
Off the top of my head. Oh, hold on. I've got a sail diagram.
Thank you. I'm blanking on the name of it.
No, that doesn't.
Okay.
So it's tough because like I'm familiar mostly with 1 and 2 sailed boats, like smaller ones.
Oh, okay.
And with those, there's only ever one mast because there's just too much. What you do have, you know what? Let me just draw it real quick. It's probably easier.
Now, see, I'm used to drawing like 3 or more.
Yeah, you're used to doing pirate ships, so you have like those pirate ships.
Sails.
Yes. What I'm most familiar with are the triangle sails, and what you typically have is the main sail, and then in front, if you have a secondary one, it's actually also attached to the boom, but there's a rope up front that it's also tied to. And if you have another one, it's like a kite that goes in front of everything else. But yeah, like, were you kind of thinking of something that goes off to the side and kind of looks like, you see this in like airship designs and things like that, where it kind of goes like that?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
If I had the capability of drawing on the screen, I would be able to tell you what it is that I'm thinking. But, well,
so one of the ideas, let me see if I can find good art of it.
Okay.
Because one of the other concepts is we're seeing the crashed version of this effectively, like it's adrift.
You could also bring up the first page of The Legend of Jamie Roberts.
Oh, shoot. That would do it. Aw, thank you.
Yes. Yep. And then if you go to, okay, this is the cover. If you go to the next page, ship.
Yes. Oh, are you talking about the one in the back there?
Yes.
What would that be called?
I don't remember. It's too bad that Lucy Bellwood is not here.
Nope. It's probably like the aft sail or something like that.
But that's what I was talking about when I was describing it.
Yeah.
Also,
that would be the mizzenmast.
Mizzenmast, that's the word. Also, have you considered doing sails like these on the ships? Because these are the kind that are like tied up and then you unfurl them and they go boosh. Because I can think of a couple different
sails that would make sense, because those were good for very large ships, where you have prevailing winds that will carry you in a very specific direction.
Yes.
You mostly want the triangle ones are good if you're going to be much more maneuverable, because they work much better when the wind is not in your favor. Yeah. With the nice thing about one of those, like a boat or ship that has triangular sails, is they basically have like 270 degrees of movement. The only movement they can't do is directly into the wind for roughly like a 90-degree section. And they still have a way of dealing with that. They just have to kind of zigzag.
Yeah. Also, normally other artists would caution against using other forms of art as a form of reference, but honestly, take a look at the sailing in Moana if you want to stick with that particular type of sail.
That's a very good way to think of it. I've never actually seen Moana. I know I need to.
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Have not seen the sequel. Typically Disney sequels kind of suck unless you're The Rescuers Down Under. Yes, I said it. But
actually, here's an interesting example.
Okay.
Let me just pop this over into the thing. This has a mix. It has like these like sideways sails and the normal square sails. Could do some interesting stuff with that. So one of the ideas I'm kind of playing with, let me, do I still have this open in another tab? Bring that up.
Oh. Were you trying to bring up the wrestler racing the chair?
Nope. That's from my old D&D character.
Okay.
You know what? Just because it got spotted, I'll go ahead and talk about this real quick because it's fun.
Okay.
I
have questions.
Yeah, I figured you might. You know what? Easiest way. There it is.
That's
okay. So
go on.
Fun story.
Yes.
There is a very corrupt city-state that was basically like Fantasy Vegas.
Okay.
Where this really powerful family started a war and started taking over everything, and they got in control of elementals, so they were able to really wreck shop. And this is also a world with low magic, so the fact that they had this was a big deal.
Okay.
We ended up killing the guy running all this stuff, taking over ourselves, and basically like, okay, now we're in charge of Fantasy Vegas, and the mob and we basically have to be the mob in order to work with the mob. And
okay.
The thing is, though, we're very powerful. We actually have a bunch of us actually have magic, and I'm like trying to play it a little bit more seriously because like I'm the like no nonsense fighter.
Okay.
But then the players are like, so we're going to entertain the people by inventing T-Rex Fight Club, which is professional wrestling, except two of the people can turn into T-Rexes because one is polymorph and the other is a druid.
Okay.
And as soon as this happens and it works, I'm like, okay, my character's a luchador. Let's do this. So my gnome fighter luchador would do these staged fights against our druid, who was a Kenku, hence why the T-Rex has feathers.
Yes.
I will also say that is not chest hair, that's a tattoo. He had a big old tattoo.
I was wondering about that. I couldn't tell if it was a scarf or something, or not scarf, but like a scar.
He had a life seal tattoo, I think is what it is, where if you go down to 0, you're back up.
Oh.
But it looked like a cherry blossom tree, and every time he went down and came back up, it would sprout a fruit.
Ooh.
Which is pretty cool. The other fun thing is the announcers are these two characters' wives, and you can tell they're both just kind of into it. That was a very fun drawing. Wait a minute.
Looks fun.
Whoa, you can't stage professional wrestling. We did here. Sorry.
The kayfabe of it all.
But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, do I want people to see this as my background? I'm like, I can explain it.
Honestly, it's a fun background.
It's a great background. I love this thing. I had so much fun drawing it.
I mean, anytime that you get to draw a character wrestling a dinosaur.
Yeah. Part of the thing also is we had downtime, and I had a very, very normal downtime for my character, like very calm, The other players went buck wild, and I'm like, oh, I'm not wild enough. So I'm like, I'm a luchador now. We're making him a luchador.
Perfect.
it was very good. But yeah, I also want to call out had another suggestion from Los. Due to swirling vortex force, the sails can look warped and vary depending on shape.
That's true.
One thing I was it could also be broken. Like that, the mast could be broken and off to the side. Yep. I was kind of playing with the idea that when this is in the actual vortex, first off, it's not mobile. Like it's disabled. It is, in a sense, stable due to the centrifugal forces, but it is not actually like moving around or sailing. I was playing with the idea that the mast would be broken into the side and caught in the water, and you would basically have I am blanking on the term, but that situation where the ship's actually leaning. Here we go. Here's a good example of it.
Capsizing?
That's not capsizing, but it's like this.
Okay. Catamaran.
So I've been playing with a catamaran concept, but this particular pose, this happens a lot when you're going in the wind at an angle, because the sail is actually getting pushed sideways and the boat starts to tip. You'll actually see professionals who are doing this just lean all the way out off the edge of the boat to counterbalance the weight so they can keep going as fast as possible.
There are parts in Moana where this happens.
Yeah. Very common thing to have happen. It can lead to capsizing if you are not careful. I have done it. The person on the boat was very mad at me. Rightfully so. It was my fault. Yeah. But it is, I'm kind of picturing like they're kind of stuck permanently in that position, and the sail is caught in the water, and it's kind of like keeping balanced. And the fact is, if it's stopped, they risk actually falling out of the vortex and down. Like it could be really bad.
Gotcha.
I like the idea that some of these are very precarious. Let's actually see if I can make it. How did I draw? Okay, I'm gonna get rid of fire.
No. Make a copy of it so that you can keep the fire.
Well, that's exactly what I was doing. Sorry.
Okay. You had me worried for a minute. I know there's the expression "kill your darlings," but at least save a copy of your darlings. Yeah. Jesus.
I was thinking, oh no, I didn't say that right. I need to cut the fire.
Yes.
Okay.
The fire. Oh my God. I don't know if you saw this particular short, but B. Dylan Hollis did a short with another person. And this other person, they were filming the short at this guy's house. And he goes, allow me to show you the cabinet. And I died for like 10 minutes. Because it was just a cabinet full of beans.
Oh, I didn't see this. That's great. I thought I saw all of B. Dylan Hollis' stuff. I'll need to check that out.
But as soon as I saw cabinet, I died for like 10 minutes when I first saw it. Same reaction as Alex and I were watching the Mystery Science Theater 3000 episode of the Puma Man.
Puma Man! I love that one.
I love it so much. There's that part where one of the antagonists throws a
moron. Sorry.
There's that part where one of the antagonists throws a dude out of a window, and the riff is, "We're downsizing, Steve."
So, no joke.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I remembered seeing that. And one of my best friends from college, Brendan, huge fan of Mystery Science Theater. He's the only person I'd met who knew what episode I was talking about. And this was back when it was really hard to get a lot of the episodes.
Yeah.
So like, it hadn't been released at anything, but he knew immediately what we were talking about. And I think we actually managed to see it at Kenyon because someone released found copies of it.
Ooh. Nice.
That But yeah, it's now generally available, so I've seen it a few times. But it was one of those things where it was like, yes, it exists.
Yeah. Somebody gets it.
I remember that and Quest of the Delta Knights were episodes that was like, I remember this, and no one else does.
Yep, that was a weird one. I've not seen that one nearly as many times as other episodes, but that was memorable.
Yeah, the way you know people have, the only thing anyone remembers from that one really is it'll be a nice day if it doesn't rain.
Yes. Which it was intended to be a code phrase, and yet there's this one part where this woman starts to say the response and then she stops as a guard walks by, and it's like, the guard does not know the phrase. You can say it. That's the whole point. Okay. Just moment of like the follow through logic on that was just like, I think they overthought this.
Yeah. What's funny is this is also making the like concept of the vortex, how to draw the vortex, make more sense all of a sudden.
With the broken sail or with the controller?
Just actually drawing it like this seems to be working in my brain.
Nice.
I'm gonna clear out a little bit of this. Should have done it on a slightly separate layer, but oh well. I like the idea that the sail is caught in there, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's some interesting ideas with this.
Also throw in there that they
pitch.
Tied it off. To my idea for this, I was debating if this was going to be a viewing station or a gunning station that is also retractable, which is why it's designed the way it is for like when they need to go at high speed.
Yeah. ¿Por qué no los both?
Yeah. Well, another part of it is scale. Like, how big is this thing going to be?
Right.
Because if it's supposed to be like the size of an aircraft carrier, which is kind of what I was picturing, it's big. And certain elements of it would become much more impractical as a result of that.
Do you think Hayao Miyazaki cared about that when in the opening segments of Castle in the Sky, he came up with the castle that had a giant fucking propeller on the bottom of it, the size of Japan? Do you think he cared about that when he designed that?
I'm trying to care about that stuff less. But it's really hard for me. Like, I so badly want to figure out how stuff works. Which is tough because I'm not a person who knows stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That should not stop you from drawing a thing.
I've gotten into arguments with one of my friends who's big into superheroes, especially speedsters. He loves speedster characters like the Flash.
Okay.
And I keep trying to apply physics to the Flash. Or like when I try to create a speedster, like, okay, I want to like, what would actually be wearing down? How would he need to move in order to make stuff do? And it's like, dude, it's lame. Just let him run. And I'm like, no, I want to make him aerodynamic.
The closest you're going to get is the part in The Incredibles where Edna Mode talks about when she was designing Dash's supersuit, being like, I made it so that there would be less friction. Very, very handy as he gets up to speed. And it's like,
I will say,
yeah,
I did come up with some cool stuff for that character.
For which character?
The speedster character I was designing.
Okay.
The two main things I came up with are I gave him a gliding suit.
Okay.
Because if you can create that much speed, you can create lift.
Yes, you can.
And the thing is, my friend was like, yeah, but the Flash just does like tornado hands. And I'm like, well, he's not going to do tornado hands. I'm giving him wings.
Yeah.
The other thing is I actually designed him more along the lines of speed skaters than runners.
Okay.
Because if you look at how speed skaters work, like first off, they get going very fast. They position their bodies differently. The type of equipment they wear is very different aerodynamically. And they actually have a very, it's kind of cool watching the difference between them getting up to speed and then maintaining speed, which is a thing you don't actually see with running as much because it's either sprinting or long distance.
But you said speed skaters, and my first thought, this says something about me. My first thought was Shadow the Hedgehog.
You know, not a bad thing to look at. Or like Sonic the Hedgehog stuff has a lot of like running fast things.
That is the central conceit of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Exactly.
You gotta go fast.
It's interesting because like you look at sprinters too and things like that. It's tough because some of what they do seems counterintuitive. They stay very upright. There's no Naruto running. Like in our brains, we see Naruto running and we're like, oh, it's moving fast and he's like making himself aerodynamic. It's like if you ever look at the really, really good runners, their upper bodies are jacked too.
Yeah.
And a big part of that is you actually move faster if you can pump your arms faster. Because it's linked into your legs with contra body movement. You can actually pump faster and make your legs move faster.
It's a whole thing.
But yeah, it is one of those things where it's like, okay, so that part is normal. I'll just get finicky when it comes to archers.
Just don't look at Daniel too closely when you're reading The Legend of Jamie Roberts. I'll say that. If you're going to get really finicky with archers, don't look too closely at Daniel.
I will say what's made me a lot better about being finicky with archers is Blumenek's videos. Are you familiar with him?
Is he the guy that does the pole dance and arrows? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But he is so good at being like, stop criticizing, archers in fiction. They're doing their best. Now, he does point out some things like you really shouldn't do these things, but he's much more open about a lot of it.
Okay, gotcha.
And one of the things but it's fun because also there's a lot of videos that talk. I actually know specifically what I'm planning on doing for an archer character. This is another Backburner project. But when I do, I was looking at archer characters in superhero comics. You've got Green Arrow, you've got Hawkeye, you got people like that. And they're all kind of the same style of archer in a lot of ways.
Okay.
And I was like, what has not been done that's a major archery tradition? Horseback archers.
Yeah.
Particularly like traditions of like Mongolian archery and steppe archery, which were built entirely around being on the back of a horse and doing some crazy, crazy stuff. And it is completely different from the styles that are typically done in other comics. So I'm like, okay, this dude rides a motorcycle.
Yeah.
I also
Please tell me the motorcycle is sentient.
It's a good idea. That has to happen at some point.
Yes.
One of the concepts I had for him is he is not a great shot if he's not moving.
Oh, okay.
So he can't just stand still and shoot as nearly as effectively. Like, he will literally throw himself off of something so he is falling because he will be a better shot while he's in motion.
I love that character flaw so much.
There is one thing that will make him very much like the other archers in superhero fiction, and that is that he makes terrible decisions.
Good.
But yeah,
yes.
This concept definitely needs some work, but I think this is better than what I've been doing.
Okay. That's something.
Yeah.
We'll take that.
And I feel like a lot of what we talked about has helped out a lot. Like, the biggest problem I've been running into was the ship designs and stuff like that, because it's mostly one of those things where it's like there are so many little pieces that you'd have to figure out.
Yeah.
And just about everything I draw and I hadn't liked. This I like. So
nice.
It's definitely an improvement.
There you go. So, stuff to explore for you. Like these catamarans, other household objects that you can make into ships.
It's true. I might bring back that corkscrew concept. That was kind of fun.
Heck yeah.
I want to make it look cleaner than I did in that drawing, but I could definitely find ways to use that. And it theoretically also kind of makes sense. Like, if you could figure out a way to make a gyroscope and just kind of crank back, you'd have to wait until you made it all the way around the vortex, which I imagine happens pretty quick. There's already precedents for Sentient Bike, Heat Vision, and Jack.
I feel like this is a reference to a Mystery
Is that The Incredibles?
No, I feel like this is a reference to a Mystery Science Theater 3000 episode. But I'm only thinking about it because I had caught a brief glimpse of something during an MST3K marathon in which there was a dude riding a motorcycle that talked, and it was the most annoying motorcycle.
Yep, it is in fact a film from 1999. So probably not on Mystery. Well, it might be on newer Mystery Science Theater. But
there were some Joel episodes that had stuff from the 90s.
Holy sh! It had Jack Black and Owen Wilson in it. Also Ron Silver, who you might know, but he's in The West Wing and he's a good character.
So we need to watch this movie as well.
Oh yeah, we're watching this movie. Oh,
yeah. And
it has the subway ghost from Ghost.
Okay.
That's a pull.
Okay,
wait.
Hold on. From Ghost, are you talking TV show Ghost or Patrick Swayze Ghost?
Patrick Swayze Ghost. This is the ghost that's actually able to punch stuff. Oh, honestly, I've been thinking about that movie a lot. I've been meaning to do a rewatch of it.
Okay.
Ben Stiller directed this movie.
Wait, what? Okay.
Directed Heat Vision and Jack. The writers are Rob Schraub and Dan Harmon.
I don't know who that is.
Dan Harmon is the guy behind Rick and Morty.
Oh.
And Community.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, okay. Borderline on whether you consider that a good thing.
It'll be an interesting watch, that's for sure.
I'm very curious about Heat Vision and Jack. We got to watch that, and at some point we ought to watch Ghost, but I don't think on the same night.
No, not on the same night. Those are two different events.
I'm finding out if Heat Vision and Jack is streaming anywhere.
Oh, man. Okay. Yeah.
It's like, oh, hello, single greatest movie ever made.
Oh, my God. I hold on. I gotta pull this movie. Okay, hold on. Give me a minute. I gotta pull a thing because this was one of the greatest bad movie finds. Give me just a minute.
Okay, wait a minute. This might have just been a pilot.
Okay.
And it might be The entire pilot is 30 minutes and it's on YouTube.
Sweet.
Done. Done. It's happening.
Done. It's happening. Yes. Okay. I need to pull this DVD. I will be right back. Okay. So I don't know if this is going to be the worst movie or the best movie or something in between, but this thing.
Hold on, let me make you big.
The Prince, the Witch, and the Mermaid. Let me read the synopsis that is on the back.
Okay.
Enter a world in which sea witches reign and kings lead bloody wars. The adventurous tale beings. When King Sudus bans his sons from Ratana during their exile, a giant sea witch kidnaps one of the brothers, Fra Apaimani, after falling in love with him. It's now up to his brother, Sri Suan, a small contingent of warriors and a beautiful mermaid to rescue him before he is lost forever.
I mean, I'd watch it.
I would also watch it, which is why I have it. I think I found this. It was either in the collection of my late uncle, or I found it for like $5 at Rite Aid. I don't remember which one. Either one of those is a possibility. Do
you remember dollar movies at Walmart? Did you have that?
Yes, I do. Yes,
so good.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead and shrink me back down because you're still focusing on my face.
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
There we go.
Cool. But I needed to share that because
that was so. Yeah, we need. Los is suggesting we watch. I already forgot the name of it. It was good.
Heat Vision and Jack
on the stream. I'm a little worried about getting content flagged, but
yeah.
Also, Kelsey, you mentioned that on some Fridays you're going to have a hard out at 10. Do you have a hard out today?
That's my hard out today. Yeah.
Okay, then we should actually probably wrap up because it's already 9:50.
Okay. I mean, if you want to keep going, you can keep going, but this is my hard out.
Nope. I think this. I will actually save this later. But yeah, I think this gives people a pretty good idea of what these are going to be like. I do think I'm going to do more of these. Like, this is actually pretty fun.
Fuck yeah. Well, you have enough ideas in the backlog.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to be doing a lot of the backlog ideas, too. But I think it's kind of cool showing people, like, this early development stage stuff. Because, like, you could... First off, it's a part of the creative process a lot of people don't show.
Right, yeah.
And it's also one of those things where a lot of people don't... It's a little concerning because it's like, oh, there are going to be spoilers in here. It's like, this is so early. I'm going to change so much of this. No idea what's going to happen. This is just where I am right now. What's been holding me up from working on it and what I could potentially do to change that. And I feel like that's maybe more useful to some people. Like sometimes there's going to be art stuff. Sometimes there's going to be scripting that I talk about with this.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
I think, this is definitely something I'm going to bring back at some point. Maybe we can help you with your backlog of stuff or other artists with backlogs of stuff. That'd be pretty fun.
I'm cool with helping other artists with their backlogs of stuff. I'm feeling pretty confident with mine. My issue is more just time.
Yeah. No, isn't it for all of us? It's part of why I like this system. It's like, oh, I have to spend an hour now working on this. And it's not always an hour, but I count it as an hour if it's close.
Yeah. Well, you also have the ability to work on this as like, this is your main gig.
Yeah.
This is not my main gig right now.
Completely understandable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll throw out one other thing that's kind of fun. When we were first coming up with what we wanted to do for Canon Right, when we settled on anthologies as a starting point at the very least. One of the original things I wanted to do, which is just like, it's not going to happen because it's just too much work required from people. I wanted to basically set up a platform for people to work on their backburner projects. And like, did you have a backburner project you wanted to do? Let us give you the support you need to actually get it out there on a regular basis.
Okay. Not the direction that I thought you were going. Because I vaguely remember hints of this. I thought you were going to bring up the magazine idea.
Well, this was part of the magazine idea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But one of my ideas was, wouldn't it be cool if we did this specifically for people's backburner projects? Like, that project you always wanted to do and just haven't had the time for it. Yeah. We're giving you the excuse to do it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I could see doing that in the future, but it genuinely requires a lot more infrastructure than we've got.
I will say the next time that you run one of these backburner barbecues, I'm bringing snacks.
Good.
Because barbecue.
That's a great idea. Like, why don't I have a thing of chips here besides the fact that it'd be the worst mukbang?
I know. Well, I mean, okay, chips. I'm thinking next time this happens, I'm going to make deviled eggs because I have discovered now that I am older, like I had hated deviled eggs as a kid. No, turns out the people in my family were making deviled eggs wrong. So like now I know how to make proper deviled eggs and I love them.
Lowe's dropping bars, by the way.
Yeah, BYOB, bring your own backlogs. Fuck yeah, brother.
Honestly, this is just a good excuse to do work-alongs too. Like,
it is.
Have some real fun with that.
It is. Yeah. I was almost tempted to bring up one of my own comic pages just to work on it while we were chatting, but
yeah. And if you wanted to share that next time, go for it. Just let me know so I know to click the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's buttons on my end.
Yeah. All right. Well, it is time to wrap it up so you can get going. Kelsey, where can people find you on the internet?
Oh, people can find me on the internet at KelciDCrawford.com. It's right there on the screen. It's got links to literally everything. That does remind me, keep an eye on the website because pretty soon in the next couple of days, I will be posting a link to the Cartoonist Co-op podcast that we just recently dropped a new episode, which is awesome. You can find that on any platform that you choose to listen to your podcasts on. RSS feed pending, but I will be posting that on my website very, very soon. Keep an eye out for that. My webcomics are also there. Check it out.
And you can find me at BWHComics.com. I'm also at BWHComics on Patreon, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and Blue Sky. You can also find my webcomic cosplay and a webcomic about cosplay and convention craziness over at cosplayandcomic.com. So that's going to wrap things up for tonight. Thank you very much for joining. And until next time, rock on, guys. Never stop drawing.
Thank you all so much for tuning in. You are awesome.
Also, Kelsey will be at Pi in March.
I will be at Pi in March. Find me there, y'all.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.